Welcome to the Tech Sharmit podcast, where technology is not just news, but the roadmap to the future. This is a space where we explore the latest tech trends, AI, startups, gadgets, and the ideas that redefine the way we think. Leading this conversation is Amit Sharma, globally recognized as Tech Sharmit. A technologist from Bharat, Amit brings an Indian perspective to the global technology landscape. With deep technical expertise and strong industry insight, and for his contributions and impact within the global tech community, he has been recognized with several prestigious honors, including Google Developer Expert, Microsoft MVP, IBM Champion, and Planet Mainframe Influencer. Through this podcast, he shares practical knowledge, real-world perspectives, and globally relevant thinking designed to help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving technology landscape. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Sharmit channel to stay updated with future episodes. And if you're looking to level up your skills, don't forget to explore the Tech Sharmit digital course book in the description box, where you'll find thousands of free programming courses curated to help you grow as a developer. So plug in your headphones and join us as we begin today's episode of the Tech Sharmit podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I'm joined by another very special guest, Mariana Dias, who is joining us all the way from Brazil. If I talk about Mariana, then he is a Google developer expert in Earth Engine, and her work focuses on GIS, remote sensing, and environmental data analysis. In today's episode, we will talk about geospatial science, satellite data, environmental monitoring, and how technology can help better understand and protect our planet. But before we proceed further with these all things, I would like to thank Mariana for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us a bit about yourself.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope we had a great conversation.
Yes, welcome, Mariana, again. And yeah, so I think we are good to start. And before we discuss your work, your contribution as a GD, I just wanted to let the audience know about your work in a very simple terms. So imagine like we have zero idea of what geoprocessing is or remote sensing means. So how would you explain your job to my audience in a very simple and relatable terms?
Okay, so that's a great question. I usually explain like that. Almost everything in the world happens somewhere. So that means that every place on Earth has kind of an address,
Mm-hmm.
which are represented in geographic coordinates.
Okay.
So the geoprocessing is basically a set of tools and methods we use to uh, analyze information that has this location, this coordinate, geographic coordinate. And for that, we use computers, databases, and mapping softwares to understand patterns that happens on this space.
Okay.
But remote sensing are basically collecting information without being physically there. Uh, and the satellites are a great example for that. So they capture images, data about the Earth's surface. So I can live in the countryside of Brazil, and I can still study the Amazon forest using the satellite images. That's remote sensing.
Okay, remote sensing. So just one thing, Mariana, here, like let's say if there is any particular group of students who also want to pursue the similar kind of profile that you have been working for a very long time. So could you please clear for them that this position is for everyone, right? Doesn't matter like if they are from any particular geographical condition, they can contribute in this domain from anywhere across the globe, right?
Yes. Um, this usually this is a field inside the Earth observation and environment research. Uh, but nowadays with technology, we have people from all the areas,
All right.
and especially from the computer sciences.
Okay. All right. Okay, so now we will talk about the initial days of your this journey of geography, because you studied your geography at the UNESP Rio Claro in both teaching as well as a bachelor's track. So, like, what really sparked your passion for geography back then, and when did you realize that yes, GIS and remote sensing is something that is the area where you want to contribute in the later go?
Okay, at the end of the high school here in
Mhm.
Brazil, it was time to choose a major. And I was very unsure because I liked many different subjects:
Okay.
physics, nature science, and also the social science. And then I realized that geography is a very interdisciplinary subject, and I decided to study geography. And during university, I discovered geoprocessing and remote sensing, and then I became fascinated because I realized that combining spatial analysis with technology gives us a powerful way
Mm-hmm.
to understand what's happening on the Earth and in the space around us. So it allows us to study new places, to discover new dynamics, and was on university that I was following this career, and studying my research projects was started to be on this field from geoprocessing and remote sensing.
Okay. So it's quite fascinating, like how you started your journey, particular in this geography terms. But later on, like if we track your path of your career, we know that you have been recognized with one of the prestigious title, that is Google Developer Expert in Earth Engine. So, like, how did you go from geography classroom to becoming a GD in Earth Engine? So, what does that journey look like from the inside? Because if we talk about students, they often uh, prefer, or they often encouraged to buy the titles, but behind those titles, there are a long journey. So, how was your overall journey with the GD community?
Um, During my research in university, I started working with lots of satellite images,
Okay.
and then I realized that we need some very often we need uh, uh, we faced hardware limitations
Okay.
because satellite images are large and heavy raster datasets, and many kind of analysis and work and research are limited by hardware and physical infrastructure. So while I was looking for ways to overcome these
Mm-hmm.
limitations, I discovered Google Earth Engine, that is a cloud computing platform
Okay.
focused on geospatial data, and especially in satellite images. And it allows us to perform very complex
Mm-hmm.
analysis only with an internet connection, without needing powerful local infrastructure. And I became very interested in the platform, and I started to studying. Took lots of courses, and I started to share with people what I learned, and so I started to giving talks, organizing workshops, and teaching short courses about the platform. And because of this technical work and community engagement, I was recognized by Google, and I became part of the Google Developer Experts program.
Okay, because it's not that easy, like the way you work for this community. That's why like you have been rewarded with this thing, and I'm sure like as compared to other technologies, whether it's Angular GD, Cloud, the number of Google Engine GD is very less, right? Or comparatively, it's less, but still you figure out
Yes.
the way to contribute in this particular field, and you started your sessions and blogs and all the material that you are providing with the community. So it's really very um, great thing that you are doing for the community. So that's great.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
I
So
think we are in 30 30 Earth Engine experts
30.
nowadays.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I think in that case, like it was maybe bit difficult for you all 30 of you, because if we have larger community, then we know like what they are doing, and then we can follow the similar kind of contribution. But you were the initial 30 members of Google Engine, so you started everything from scratch. You started contributing from scratch, so that's really very encouraging thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
We are
Okay.
trying to disseminate with more
Yes.
people.
Yes, right. Okay, so now we will talk about the other thing, that is by map biomass. Because let's say for listeners who have never heard of this term map biomass, how would you explain what it does and why it really matters in a very non technical terms? How you will explain the urgency of it?
Okay, so MapBiomas it's a Brazilian initiative that was
Mhm.
created to produce reliable environmental data about the
Okay.
country and make it openly accessible to everyone. The main goal is to understand what's happening to our natural areas and to the landscapes shaped by human activities. And using satellite images, we can create maps to show how land use and land cover have changed across Brazil over the past 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is how to look to a mirror of the country and understand these dance moves of the chairs, what is changing for what, so we can see, for example, if a forest disappears, we can see what replace it, maybe agriculture or pasture or urban expansion. In a way, we are documenting the story of the how the landscape is changing, and it's mattered because having this clear, accessible helps society to understand it and to think better about the next decisions
Right.
that will continue to shaping the territory.
Okay. So as you mentioned that this is initiative by the Brazil, right? So like whatever data you are creating for that, the data set, it is available for the global audience as well. Let's say if someone who want to do more research on it, they can access that data, right?
Yes, yes, we have we our platform, and there you will find all the maps and all the data publicly
Okay.
and available. Uh, and it was an initiative that um, was born in Brazil, but nowadays we are in all the South America countries, and
Mm-hmm.
we are also expanding for the other countries. The main
Okay.
goal is to have available data and environmental data about all the tropical forests in the world, because they are very important for the all the climate changes and the weather control.
Okay. And I think Mariana, other than this map biomass, you also extensively worked specifically on the Meta Atlantica and Penadel teams. So, like these are completely different biomass, right? So, what were the biggest mapping challenges you faced when you worked with each of them? Was there any similarity, or was there any challenges that you faced?
Okay, so because Brazil is a huge country,
Mm-hmm.
we had different kind of landscape, nature vegetation spread.
Right.
Mata Atlântica or Atlantic Forest is the most deforested biome of Brazil, and the major challenge, the main challenge, is fragmentation. So we have lots of small and very small patches of forest, remaining forest spread on Mata Atlântica.
Mm-hmm.
And the main challenge to us is to map these small patches, because
Yeah.
once we have this mapped, we can follow and monitor these areas and think better about them once we know that they exist. So this is I think this is the main challenge for Pantanal. Pantanal is the largest tropical wetland, continuous wetland of the world, and is a very dynamic system. It has flood and drought cycles, and this results in huge changes in the landscape. So 70 or 80% of Pantanal could be uh, 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 full of water,
Okay.
submerged, and in some months of the year, and in another months of the year was completely dry. So the main challenge is to map right this very dynamic ecosystem. So are very different places, but these two places I can see that they have in common a huge biodiversity. On
Right.
the remaining native areas, we had lots of different and beautiful animals and plants species.
Okay. And I think for map biomass, you like this map biomass uses a satellite data, right, to track the land use change over the decades. So if you had to explain it in a very simple way, like, can you walk us through like what it actually looks like or it feels like to open new data set to open a new data set and for to see the deforestation for the very first time when you are starting from the scratch itself?
Yes, uh, I've been working with this type of data for more than 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, it was quite emotional to see deforestation events for the first time. When you open a data set and realize that a forest area disappeared, it can feel personal sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
frustrating. But over time, these feelings became a bit more balanced as I started to understand the impact of the work we are doing through MapBiomas,
Okay.
because the data we produce, is widely used to support monitoring and help fight illegal deforestation. Uh, so I think the motivation comes from the impact.
Impact.
But sometimes I still get upset when I see a huge deforestation or a huge deforestation
Hmm.
on a protected area. But at the same time, I feel motivated to continue the work, to keep monitoring and reporting, to help the fight against illegal deforestation.
Yes, right. And here, Mariana, I want to ask one question. This is regarding the artificial intelligence because nowadays we know that everyone is utilizing it. So, do you think it will impact all on the environmental things as well? Because we know that how it is, water is utilized for cooling purposes and to operate the machines. So, how you are looking towards that process of artificial intelligence on environment?
Yes, we use some machine learning algorithms
Mm-hmm.
to help us to produce these maps in large scale.
Okay.
And we use these supercomputer things, but at the same time, I think that it's very important to use these approach, these methods, to understand our planet and to help to keep a better and healthy
Correct.
planet. So I think about that. It's better to use water to find illegal deforestation than ask for a recipe of cake on internet.
Okay, all right. So we can say that if you are utilizing AI in some fields, so make sure that it is used in terms of in terms to protect the environment, or some kind of activities that are not going against that are going against the environment. So yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right. So now, moving ahead, we will talk about the wetlands, because wetlands are often also called as the kidneys of the earth, but yet they are the among of the most threatened ecosystem. So, in your opinion, like what does that data you work with that tells us about the critical or the current state in Brazil regarding the wetlands?
Yes, wetlands are extremely connected to the hydrological cycle,
Mm-hmm.
so their health depends a lot on balancing of water in the landscape, and it is about the water on the rivers, the water sources, but also the water that goes to the clouds through the trans uh, evapotranspiration from the trees. In the Pantanal, for example, the data we work with MapBiomas shows concerning trends. We've been observing longer and more severe dry periods over the last years. This makes the ecosystem more vulnerable. One consequence is that fires can spread much more easily in very dry years, we see wildfires, large wildfires that can affect huge areas of the biome. Then we face a, huge death of animals trying
Yeah.
to run of the fires. Another important point our data highlights is that protecting wetlands is not only about protecting the wetland itself. We need to protecting the areas where the water comes from, the
Hmm.
springs, rivers, and surrounding vegetation that feed these systems. So
Okay.
the data highlights that we are facing some drought, have heavy dry periods, but also we need to protect this vegetation area that affects this cycle, the water cycle.
It's great to know like how you and your team is working with technologies in the best way, because this is the best way to use the technology and data set to find out the issues that happening on the earth, and then taking the right actions on the right time so that we can protect the nature. So that's great to know like how you guys are working. So kudos to you all of for all these things that you are doing.
Yes, I
Okay.
agree. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so now moving ahead, we will talk about a few things that is related to your personal journey. So, firstly, I'll start with one question. It's a bit of hypothetical question. So, let's say if you could put one map in front of every Brazilian decision maker tomorrow, so what would it show, and what would be your things that you would you like to highlight with the Brazilian decision maker, policy maker persons?
That's a great question. If I could show just one map to every Brazilian decision maker, I think it will highlight three key types of information.
Okay.
First one, water source and rivers. Because of that, I just said protect vegetation. It's highly connected to water security. So highlight this the vegetation connected to the water source. The second layer, I would highlight the first fragmentation. because it's important to understand the forest fragmentation to reconnect some forest patches, because that increases the biodiversity, and increasing biodiversity, we had so many benefits. We had air quality benefits, we had agriculture production benefits. So it's important to make the forest patches connected. And the third one, I think I will be highlight the urban expansion in risk areas, because
Mhm.
nowadays we are facing the climate change results. We had so many extreme events such as floods, landslides,
Hmm.
uh, and another things. So it's important to understand where are these urban expansion in
Correct.
risk areas, to think better about what we gonna do with that, how we can protect these people.
That's a great vision, because if we are taking care of all those climatical condition also, as you mentioned about a landslide, floods, right? So if you take the presumptions before anything happened, so that is the best way that we can do, and it's a really great vision, and I'm sure you and your team will implement this thing for sure for the environment. So it's great to know.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, although like the kind of discussion we are doing, it's quite interesting, and I'm sure those who are from the non-technical background, they are also interested in to know about the things that is happening around the globe, especially in terms of environment. But we are short on time, so I just want to take a couple of more questions before we conclude the discussion. And here, like, I just want to know a bit about the key person of your life, because we all know that behind every successful person, there's a group of network who helped us throughout our journey. So, looking back on your long career, like, who were the key people who had a defining impact on your journey so far?
Okay, that's a meaningful question, and I'm a little afraid to forget someone,
Yeah.
and because that I will highlight one very special person. On the first and major influence in my journey was a Brazilian research named Evelyn Novo.
Okay.
She is a professor, a very important professor and researcher in remote sensing. And it was of the first uh, persons in the world that used remote sensing to find deforestation.
Okay.
And interesting, I first encountered her through a very technical book she wrote about the field, but until I get access to this book, I thought she was a man, a guy, because of the surname. I just not knew her by the
Mm-hmm.
surname. And then when I realized she was a woman, I realized also that she studied in the same university that I
Okay.
was studying. And then seeing this woman from a similar academic path becoming such an important scientist made a big impression on me. And then I had her until nowadays as a huge inspiration, Evelyn Nova.
That's great. So she was also studying in the UNEP's university, right? Which we talked earlier.
Yes, yes, the
Yeah.
same city, the same curse.
That's great. Like, you were working in the same field, and then later you find out her, and then it's so. I think this is the best way. Like, if we know the right person in our community, like who is already doing the similar kind of work, then it's great to know about them, and then later on maybe we can collaborate with them to find the innovative solution and to find out the challenges thing. So that's great.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so now, Mariana, just one more question I would like to ask, and it is about the country you belong from, Brazil. Although we know that there are so many great things in which Brazil has contributed to the global audience, but if you had to share one thing, one particular thing about your country, Brazil, with the rest of the world, which is close to your heart, so what would it be, and how you will share it with the audience?
Uh, there are many things that make me proud about Brazil. The mainly things I think is the Brazilian culture and hospitality,
Yeah.
because if anyone who is thinking about visiting Brazil can expect to be very well received. That's something that I really love about my country. But in thinking in a environmental way, also
Mm-hmm.
in a perspective, one of the most remarkable aspects of Brazil is the incredible biodiversity. Brazil has many different ecosystems and vegetation types. And another thing is that large part of Brazil energy metrics comes
Okay.
from renewable source, especially hydropower. And compared with many countries that rely heavily on fossil fuels, Brazil that has a strong tradition of generating electricity from cleaner energy sources. So that makes me proud also about my country.
That's great to know. And I think you just shared a one best place for, especially to those students who want to do environmental studies, and they can simply visit Brazil, because the great initiative that your government is also doing in the country. So it's a platform like they can visit, they can explore more about the nature and the hydropower and other kind of similar domains. So thanks for sharing all
Yeah.
this information, and it was really a very nice talking with you here. So thank you once again for being a part of the show and for sharing so much information about how environmental experts are working for this environment. So thank you once again.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a little challenging because I'm no native English speaker, but I tried my best. Thank you for the patience and for all these interesting questions.
It's all our pleasure, and it doesn't look like that you are not a native English speaker, because the way you have explained everything, it was very smooth, like the way you have explained everything in a very simple words. So it really doesn't sound like that you are not an English speaker, native English speaker.
Thank you.
Thanks.